Greetings. I'm Don Coffman, speaking to you from Miami in the United States. I wish to acknowledge that the area now known as South Florida has been the traditional homelands of native nations including the Tequesta and the Calusa, and today contains sovereign homelands of the Seminole and Mississippi.
And I'm Nicolas Coffman, speaking to you from Quito, Ecuador. Quito was the home of the Quito people until briefly becoming the second capital of the Incas.
We are music education researchers, born and raised in the Midwestern United States, and have experience in wind band, orchestra, and jazz.
Over time, our research interests have expanded to include adult community music and evolving practices using music technology. This presentation is our 7th shared presentation over the past 10 years.
Nicolas and I are pleased to present our research to you today, which we believe resonates with the CMA Commission's theme of wayfinding through stories. Our focus is the content of the International Journal of Community Music from its inception in August 2007 through the first issue of this year, 2022. Our aim is to synthesize the many voices that have appeared over the past 15 years. Now, each article is at least one story, and to synthesize inevitably obscures details. However, viewing the journal's content over time does tell a story. Having served as an associate editor of IJCM for several years, I understand how the contents of a journal are curated. Journal editors and editorial boards are simultaneously gatekeepers and stewards of the submissions they receive. What is published is truly a joint effort between authors and editors to convey the scholarship in community music.
Our research has been driven by the following questions. What kinds of community music activity have been reported? Who are the participants? What issues have been discussed? We use the bibliographic management tool Zotero to receive metadata and article PDFs from a variety of databases, because no one database has completely indexed the IJCM. After reviewing author keywords, abstracts, and articles, we created additional tags to code all entries. We then imported the article information into Obsidian for note-taking, organizing, and summarizing themes. Any changes we made were then reflected as updates in Zotero and imported into our statistical software for analysis using the bibliometrics package. From August 2007 through March 2022, 15 volumes encompassing 41 issues have presented 375 contributions. Each volume typically has 21 articles or 7 per issue. There have been 22 special issues. Please understand that the drop-off in 2022 is due to our including only the 7 articles in issue 1 of this year for today's presentation. For this study, we removed 69 items that included editorials, reports of conferences, book reviews, and articles that were interviews, biographies, or essays written in memory of an individual. The remaining 307 articles we categorized into 191 research reports, 79 position papers, and 37 project reports. Line graphs reflect the trends in the number of articles for each type per year. One trend to note is the decline in the number of project reports. The donut chart shows the frequency counts.
In the first issue of the journal, Kari Veblen wrote, "I suggest we consider community music in relation to 5 issues. The kinds of music and music making involved in a community music program, the intentions of the leaders or participants in a program, the characteristics of the participants, the interactions among teaching and learning aims, knowledge, and strategies, and the interplays between informal and formal social, educational, and cultural contexts. We are going to adhere to that framework with one modification, letting intentions subsume the teaching and learning issues and rearranging her list to tell our story of IJCM.
We identified articles that examined the intentions of community music activities using 2 approaches. First, we observed the content of special issues. Early issues acquainted readers with key aspects of community music through essays, histories, and reprints of papers from CMA conferences. From the beginning, authors acknowledged that defining community music was elusive, yet over the years they presented nuanced understandings of community music activity and discussed related fields of practice. This timeline presents the appearance of special issues that have focused on conceptualizing community music. Some special issues examined the connections between community music and the fields of music education and community music therapy. An issue devoted to the importance of leisure appeared in 2013. Issues with Germanic and Nordic perspectives added to the discussion. More recently, an issue that reintegrated some community music concepts, particularly the terms intervention, excellence, and inclusion, appeared in 2020. This second timeline shows the special issues that relied on selected contributions from past symposia. These authors display the diversity of community music practice around the world.
Our second strategy for studying intentions was to categorize the types of community music activity described in the articles. You are no doubt aware that Lee Higgins identified 3 types of community music activity in his book: music of the community, communal music making, and music as an intervention. Using these 3 categories, we coded 176 articles that contain descriptions of community music activities. The line graphs show that articles about the music of specific communities appeared least often, articles about communal music making appeared more frequently, and articles discussing community music as an intervention appeared much more frequently.
In considering the music-making aspect of community music, we noted 106 articles that specified particular forms of music. Articles about singing, ranging from choirs to family groups, appeared more often than did articles about wind bands. Articles about orchestras appeared less often. The category Other Music Making included drumming, ukuleles, steel pan ensembles, electronic music, folk music, and dance, because these forms only had a few articles each. The PQC in 2009 for articles about singing reflects the articles in the special issue on ritual and spirituality.
We also categorized 195 articles according to their participants. As you can probably imagine, some community music activities spanned multiple ages, so we applied multiple codes in those instances. Articles about adults appeared most frequently, so we differentiated articles focusing on older adults from the other articles discussing adults. Articles focusing on youth appeared less often than did articles focused on children and families. The line graphs show that articles focused on adults trended higher and show an increased number of articles about young children and families starting in 2017, when the journal published special issues about them. This timeline shows the appearance of the special issues on children and family and music across the life course. I will add that the ideas concerning lifelong learning and making music throughout one's life have appeared regularly over the years. Some authors have described projects that encouraged youth to consider music making as a lifelong activity, while other authors address these issues in older adults.
Special issues have highlighted community music efforts in particular settings or contexts over the years. This timeline shows issues devoted to ritual and spirituality, criminal justice, heavy metal communities, online communities, peace-building efforts, and responses to the COVID-19 pandemic. Some themes have repeatedly surfaced. These line graphs show trends for 96 articles supporting inclusion, affirming personal or cultural identity, or promoting well-being. The donut chart shows their comparative frequency counts. Today we wish to provide some answers to these questions. What kinds of community music activity have been reported? Who are the participants? What issues have been discussed? Stepping back from the details we have presented, our examination reveals that special issues have contributed to over half the journal's content, yet their content often does not reappear in the years following their appearances. Is this to be expected? What does this trend imply?
Some topics of community music, such as inclusion, appear more frequently than other topics. Do they warrant special issue consideration, such as the MUSOC issue that addressed intervention? Other topics, such as policy or evaluating the impact of projects, are nearly absent.
Articles about community music with youth appear rather infrequently. Does this reflect practice, or does it reflect the interests of the contributing authors? This kind of speculation perhaps begs deeper questions, such as, what should the journal include?
I remarked at the beginning of this presentation that the IJCM is a joint effort between editors and authors to convey the scholarship in community music. Looking ahead, I can say that thanks to the wonders of Zoom and Microsoft Teams software, the IJCM editors are now meeting monthly, and the editorial board met for the first time this past spring. We are all discussing the future direction of IJCM. Recognizing that special issues need guest editors, if any of you have topics that you would like to coordinate, please contact Roger Manti, Bridie Lee Bartley, or me.
We hope you found something of interest from today's presentation, and we look forward to chatting with you in the Q&A to follow. Thank you.